Greetings to you and welcome back to Awakening Your Spiritual Truth. Today we're going to take the second part of creation and how we create, what we create, and how to modify our thought forms. So without further ado, let's get into it. As I said before, we do a lot of creation unconsciously. And in order for us to get to a place of spiritual awakening, we need to be more conscious of what we're doing. So how do we do that? It's actually a little easier than what it might seem. Have you ever heard of the saying, open up your mouth, put in your foot? That's because you're not thinking about what you're saying before you say it. It's no different with your creation. When you stop and allow yourself a few moments to get your thoughts together, if you will, and put that train into motion, because thought is the first step in creation. Thought, word, deed. You have a thought. With that thought, you have sent out the energy of this is what I choose to do. And in some cases, that can bring others to you with like thoughts and like ideas, and you get together, and then you can create magical things. If you have any doubts of that, look at these skyscrapers that are now reaching up into the clouds. These have all started with a thought. And it's just a case of taking that thought, vocalizing it the best that you can. And it doesn't have to be fast. You can take a few minutes and get yourself together. In this video, you'll notice that I pause sometimes, and I'm allowing my thoughts, my information that's coming to me, to become, well, hopefully clarified, hopefully organized, so that I can say it in a manner that makes sense to everybody, that clicks with you. And when we can take that moment and allow that, we become more focused, more in our consciousness of creation. In our world today, it's so hurry, hurry, hurry. Nothing's fast enough. Nothing's on time or quick enough for what we want to do. And I really feel that this has contributed to our lack of ability to step back for a second and to take the time that it requires to have some organization in your thoughts and bring that creative aspect forward and bring it into deed, to make it occur, to make it happen. In these videos that I'm doing, at some points you will see that there's a little clip where I've edited out long pauses. You don't need to sit there and watch me ponder things and gather my thoughts, so I edit that out. But I'm doing it. We all can do it. It's just a matter of getting that shift in our consciousness, allowing ourselves to take that extra moment. And it can be done. All we have to do is say we're going to do it and then do it. Just a few moments ago, I said thought was the first step in creation. And it truly is. Remember how I said we were a radio station and we're broadcasting our frequency? When we have a thought, we are taking that energy and it is radiating out. It's being broadcast. And the universe is picking that up. Source, God, whatever you choose to call it, is picking up that energy. And it's recognizing that we are in a moment of creation. We're taking that first step. And it responds. It responds because there's no other way it can happen. The universe, God's source, whatever, has no desires for regulating who and what we create, how we do it, what it is. Those are our choices. And we are the creator gods that do it. And to give that power away by dismissing that ability puts us in the space that we're in today. A lot of people feeling helpless or not worthy or whatever. If we can take that creative moment and put our thought out into the universe, and like I just said a few moments ago, others can come in and help us if it is needed, because obviously the more energy that you have, the more powerful your creative process and abilities are. That's what was meant in the Bible about with the faith of a mustard seed, and in my name so shall you create, and all that. It's the energy, the power that we have, especially when we gather in a community or a group, is immense. There was a study done, I'm not sure exactly what date, I think it was back in the 1980 or 1990s, somewhere in that time frame, that there was a meditation group of 4,000 people that was going to gather in Washington, D.C., which at that time was the crime capital of the nation. And they were going to focus on reducing crime in Washington. Now, the police chief came right out and said, the only thing that's going to do that is a major snowstorm that keeps people inside their homes and offices and off the streets. And yet, after 4 days of these 4,000 people gathering and having that focus, the crime rates dropped 40%. It was so impressive that the chief of police then signed on to the project and endorsed it. He was a believer. This is what we have available to us. This is how powerful we can be. And we don't have to have 4,000 people to do the creation process. We do it every day when we create our lives. So before we create something in our life that is not in our highest benefit, that's not going to serve us the best, let's stop. Let's take that moment. Let's concentrate or be conscious of what we're doing and how we're doing it. One final word on this, and then I'm going to close this video out. I will make it a short one today. When we have a thought, it is the releasing of creative energy of the imagination. Now, imagination, that is an important word here, because I believe that imagination has been given, or at least we think of it, in a bad light. When we use that imagination and we do it on a moment by moment basis, because what is imagination but a thought of something that you would like to do, that you feel, whatever. It's a valid element of who we are, not one to be dismissed. But when that thought that we create from the imagination, when we get that thought and say, hey, I want to do this, then we put that into motion, and we take it from just the thought, just that initial creative energy, and we move it into the verbal state. And then that's drawing the collective to action. The collective being whatever we need, be it community, be it physical items to build something, whatever. But we take that and we put it into action. And that action is where the deed comes into it. We have made manifest that thought, that imagination element. When we look at it that way, when we look at what we do in our world every day, how can anybody argue that we are not creator gods? They can't. We create everything in this world. So go out and create, but be conscious of what you create, because when you are that consciousness, when you are that creative consciousness, you are then taking yourself to the place of spiritual awakening, and you're bringing yourself into that very place that you truly desire to be. Not here. This is what counts. This, remember, is the human realm. It's an illusion. It's not real. It feels real. When I cut my finger off, it feels real. But I'm talking once again on that higher level. The finger being cut off is an experience. That's all it is. It won't grow back. Maybe you can get it sewn back on, but it doesn't mean anything other than, hey, I cut my finger off, which, as a fact of the matter, I have done. Not the whole finger, but the tip. It grew back. It's there. So be cognizant. Be conscious of your creative steps. And when you do that, you're going to see a shift in your life. Thank you for being here with me today. If you feel enlightened or you like what you hear, as I've said before, push the little subscribe button, if you will. Also do the little ding-a-ling bell, and that way you'll know when I put a new video out. And coming up, I'm going to start a Patreon, and I would enjoy having a community, if you will, of like-minded people. So once that gets up and running, because this is all new, but once that gets up and running, I'll put a thing on here too, a little notification thing. And you can click on there and join the community. And I'm toying with the idea of giving a 1 hour private live session, like a Zoom contact or whatever. And let me know in the comments what you think about that, if that's something of interest to you. Because let's face it, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. And if that would help you, if you feel that's a good thing, then by all means, let me know. All right? Go forth, create, multiply. Well, maybe not multiply, but go forth and create and have a blessed day.